yes, I am referring to March 2025. That's going to be the next time after right now we have the nodes activated. And I predict within that 6-month period, World War III, Civil War, more conflicts. I hope I'm wrong. I don't think it's that simple to just predict like that. But considering we're 3 for 3 right now, we are 3 for 3. It'd be interesting to see with Pisces that brings in the entire collective and world how what's happening now might draw in the rest of the world. As you have seen, back in October of 2024, I analyzed the nodal eclipse cycles coming out of Aries and Libra and predicting what the March 2025 eclipse in Pisces would or may produce over the next 6 months from then. In part 1 of this series that I recorded July of 2024, we looked more into the Pluto and Saturn cycles that happened during World War I, Civil War, and World War II, primarily Civil War and World War II. Make sure you watch those videos. If you're on TikTok, just scroll further down, you'll see it. If you're on Instagram or YouTube, I'll kind of clip them together so you can watch them all back to back. Really good reference. So, looks like we are here. And what I really want to unveil with this video is not only what's happening with Iran and Israel, but this No Kings protest, which is very interesting if we look deeper into. After that, I'm going to show you the natal charts for this month to the eclipse in Virgo in September, and let you know the 3 stages as we are in between the eclipse from Pisces season to the upcoming one in Virgo.
Well, thousands of people here are expected today to protest here at the courthouse before marching to the Nassau County Legislature. Of course, this all happening as Washington, D.C. is hosting a massive military parade to celebrate the Army's 250th birthday. This also falling on President Trump's 79th birthday as well. There is civil unrest planned across the country today. Several protests planned here in New York area as well. Now, No King's Day is branded by organizers as a day of defiance.
So unsurprisingly, on Trump's birthday, we have some of the biggest anti-Trump protests that we may have seen in the country. Now, really, if you think about it, this is anti-Leo rising. Leo rising is social royalty. He is the social king. Drake also has 29 degrees Leo rising, and both of them perform, like they draw large crowds. It comes with the rising. So as you can see, this No Kings protest, you can't make this up, is happening June 14th, where the moon is on Pluto. And we know that Pluto is opposite Leo. Keep that in mind. This is the chart of course, May 5th, 1789. And where was Pluto? Also in Aquarius. And Saturn was getting ready to go into Aries, where it is now. The reason why that's important is because that date represents the beginning of the French Revolutionary War. And if you understand the whole purpose of the French Revolutionary War, it was inherently a fight against monarchy. It led to the Louisiana Purchase and a young United States who had also broken away from taxation without representation, supporting mildly France while not hurting their connections with England. But I wanted to show you the connection of how Pluto in Aquarius opposite Leo has influenced throughout history an awakening of humanity who wish to fight back against oppression or their view against the prevailing monarchs. Of course, in this age, it's corporations and politicians. Now, digging deeper into these current conflicts, I want to shift your focus to 2 dates. April 2026, where we have the Sun, Saturn, Mars, God of War, oh my God, Aries And of course, subsequently, May of 2026, when we're going to have the Sun, Uranus, Gemini trans. You want to assume that everything that we're experiencing is actually preparing us for that date. Everything up until that date is going to prepare to take these issues potentially to a more global level before we activate what everyone's going to do during that. For example, why is the Sun Uranus conjunction in Gemini next year, May, somewhat significant? Because the very last time we had a Sun Uranus conjunction going into Gemini was when we started to turn the tides of World War II, 1942. We also want to take into account March 20th, 2003, the Iraqi war. Some people are saying this conflict between Iran and Iraq reminds them of this. Well, we know that Uranus was just coming into Pisces, and as Uranus is getting ready to go into Gemini today, or throughout the next couple of months, Uranus will have made a 90-degree square, thus integrating more of what has been activated since 2003. Which, if you think Israel's influence in the Middle East since 2003 and before, of course, are leading to the conflicts we're seeing today. Not, of course, blaming one side for this, but of course their involvement and presence, it'd be interesting to study. So we are about a week from the Sun and Jupiter conjunction square Neptune and Saturn, which I think is going to climax a lot of what's been activating up until this point, or at least crazy integration. Another good thing to know is we didn't have the last Saturn Jupiter conjunct since 2020, so this is the first time they're getting ready to square and 90 degree each other. Then the Sun in July is going to be further in Cancer, but we're going to have Mars on the South Node. That's the important part of this date. Keep that in mind. We had 3 God of War contracts, 2020. It was in Capricorn. 2022. It was in Aquarius. 2024. It was in Pisces. And as you can see, 2026, it's going to be in Aries. So the South Node is going to begin to shift the strategic outlook of certain countries, the social rhetoric around whether people should enter these conflicts. Then, of course, August, we're going to have the Sun in Leo that will have made its opposition of Pluto and Aquarius, very important. And Mars will now be opposite Neptune and Saturn. Okay, this is going to be right before we get ready for that Virgo eclipse. Everything that, of course, will kick off in the summer is going to heat up during Leo. And guess what? Uranus is in Gemini. And last but not least, September is where we're going to have this eclipse in Virgo, which is now the harvest of what initialized March of 2025 when the Sun in the North Node and Saturn were in Pisces. We even see Saturn has retrograded back into Pisces, re-evaluating the entire collective belief system that we initially activated back in March. So we're going to analyze how over the past 6 months, whether, what was perceived aligns with what's factually, being analyzed, or, regardless, it's getting ready to break through the whole world into the next stage of these conflicts. And that's important to keep in mind because this is the chart of World War II, and the North Node is literally opposite where it's at today, and Uranus had just entered Gemini. So when you hear these people, astrologers, analysts, politicians, all sorts of people in walks of life telling you, hey, we might be entering World War III, it's not coming out of nowhere. You don't need to read tarot or be psychic to see shit is going down. So observe, do not absorb, do not get tricked into fighting a battle that has nothing to do with you. And of course, for those of you who are out there fighting for what you believe in and you're meant to be out there, all power to you. Doesn't matter what side you are, whether you're pro-Israeli, pro-Palestinian, pro-Trump, anti-ICE. If you're doing what you're meant to be doing, you're a part of history. Just don't be a statistic and don't get murked out here, you heard? So as we've mentioned before, this is all getting ready to set up this 2026 day. The eclipse we're going to have at Virgo, at the South Node, to March of 2026 in Pisces will prepare directly one of the most epic new moons in Aries, which suggests that these current conflicts will be broken through into a global level. Not like it's the first time it's happened, but comment down your thoughts below on what that means to you. Mainly, do you think things will kind of break out before September, in between September to March, or by April of next year. Those are three periods that we'll either see things intensify up until then, or will have already gone down, albeit it's been happening. So